All right, so task problem matchers never prompt. And so this setting sets problem matcher prompting behavior for all tasks. And by default, is set false, which means that it will prompt by default, right? So this is kind of a double negative, right? So first of all, what are tasks, and then what's a problem matcher within a task? So a task is when you press Shift Command P to come up with the command palette, and you try to run a task. VS Code will detect a bunch of tasks. Some of these tasks are coming from the package.json script. So uh, when you have a task, for example, actually let me show you the official documentation that defines a problem matcher. So a task is when you want to integrate VS Code with an external tool like a compiler or a linter or something like that, you use tasks, right? And instead of opening the command line and writing whatever task you want to get started, you can just come to the command palette and run a task, select it from here, and it's just faster to do it this way, right? Okay, so what's a problem matcher? A problem matcher is when you have a task, for example, when you want to compile a C file, right? A hello world.c, and you misspelled printf for printf, right? So you switch those two letters. You want not only to see the output of the compiler, right, in the debug console or the terminal, but you want to see those problems here show up in the problems panel. So for that, you use what they call a problem matcher, and a problem matcher is essentially it will use a regular expression to extract information from this line, because this is the line that the compiler outputs, right? So you have the file. So you separate regular expressions using a colon. So you have this one first, and that one, and that one, and that one, and this one finally, right? And you say, like you tell the problem matcher the positions of the regular expressions and what information they convey, right? So this is how that works. And if you do that correctly, you will see this message, right, will show up in the problems panel. All right, so that's a problem matcher. And the thing with this setting right here, where were we? There we go. The thing with this setting is that if you create a task, let's configure a task, and you don't have an empty problem matcher, so let's remove that, and we try to run that task, not the automatically detected ones, but the configured one, it's going to show up with a prompt, because it's telling us you don't have a problem matcher, you need to select one, right? So this setting prevents that from happening. If you set this to true and you try and run that task again, it's just going to run the task and it will not prompt that again. Now, I do find this setting to be useful because to me it makes more sense to either you have an explicit problem matcher or you don't. Having an empty one sounds like a hack. It's like you have a problem matcher there, you have the key, like the problem matcher key, but there's nothing inside. Doesn't make much sense to me. So I would rather have the setting set to true, so that if there's a problem matcher there, it will respect that. If it's not there, well, it's not gonna bother you about it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm leaving the setting set to true.